Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today's video is all of the sketchbook pages that I did and during October. So in October I did the Peachtober challenge, the one that's like where you have a prompt every day. It's run by Very Little Peach. I'll leave her information in the description box if you want to like look into that. I'm sure you probably already know about it, I'm not gonna lie. And so I decided to do that because I wanted to like push my artistic boundaries a little bit. A lot of the prompts were things that I would never normally paint or draw or sketch, so it was quite fun. So I'm including all of those sketchbook pages in this video because I've time-lapsed every single one that I've done. And then I will also do a voiceover to talk through sort of like the processes, I guess, the ways in which I went around making the sketchbook pages. But I hope you enjoy watching all of the sketchbook pages that I do have done for October. So to be honest, I really had no idea what I was doing going into Peachtober, but I thought I would just use the skills that I already had. And so I think throughout the whole of these time lapses you're going to see a huge progression in my artwork. But I do really like that first illustration. For day 2 for dandelions, I literally had no idea, so I just did some sort of like botanical inspired illustrations. I do kind of like how they turn out, but they're not really like the style of art that I do most of the time. And I feel like that's the case of a lot of these sketchbook pages, is that it doesn't necessarily feel like my artwork. It feels very much so like it's just done for the prompt rather than actually something that I've made and created myself with my own, I don't know, imagination and style and creativity. But this is another sketchbook page that I really liked how it came out. The prompt with tiger, and it just looks cool. There's lots of textures, lots of layers. I really like nature. Nature painting is like my favourite thing, and so I think I felt very comfortable with the prompts that were to do with nature and not the prompts that were to do with like other things. I don't know how to describe it. Cowboy boots, I had so much like brain racking to try and figure out what to do for the prompt of cowboy, because I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to do like a cowboy riding a horse, but I like cowboy boots, they're cool. This sketchbook page is one of my favourite pages because I think the colour values in it are so nice and it sort of all just came together and it looks really pretty. That's it, that's the reason why I like it. For this page I had no idea what I was doing, but also I really didn't like it as I was doing it. I just knew it wasn't turning out how I wanted it to, and so I don't like that page. For most of these sketchbook pages they're done with watercolours and then like pencils and crayons added in. However, I did do some in gouache. This is with gouache paints. I like it. Again, it doesn't really feel like my artwork because it's so different from what I do. I think I normally have like a looser art style than this. However, I love working with gouache. I've realised from this whole month of painting, and so towards the end of the month I literally just worked with watercolour and gouache like combined together, and I love how those sketchbook pages came out, so you'll see them at the end because they're like the last few that I did. But yeah, this one again, it feels too flat. I think there's just not enough texture in that one. However, this lanterns one, there's so much texture in it because I really went to town with 1, layering paints, and 2, layering with lots and lots of like crayons and coloured pencils. You can see all of the texture that's in this, and I love that. I think there's another thing that I really realised whilst doing all of these pages was that I love texture in paintings, and like lots to like, it almost took kind of antiques, like you could touch it and it would feel cool, even though obviously they're flat. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. This one is Field, and it's Field of Dreams. Is what I was going for with this. It's all gouache. I really love how it turned out. I think it just looks very fun. That is, yeah, it looks cute, basically. This is another one that I loved because, again, of all the layers of paint and the coloured pencil layering that I did with it, it just looks really textured. This one didn't come out as well as I wanted it to. I really wanted it to be a lot more vibrant, I think, but it just didn't quite work. And that's okay. I think that was my biggest learning lesson, is sometimes things work, sometimes things don't, and like even when you repeat things to try things again, they don't always turn out how you want them to, and that's totally fine. I think honestly that this month was like the best learning experience of just committing to one, painting, and two, just trying and testing different methods and different techniques to produce results. This one is a gouache painting and I absolutely love it. I think it looks so good. This I forgot to film. This one I like, but I don't love. I think I like the colour values again, and that was something that I definitely, again, also sort of found out towards the end, was that the colours palette really made a difference to whether I liked the painting or not, and sometimes I like the colour palette more than I like the actual painting. But yeah, this one is inspired by a photo that I took of the Jardin in the Jardin de Luxembourg. It's when it was snowing last year in Paris. I think, yeah, again, I love working from photos. I love having that kind of reference. I also love plein air painting, so I feel like those kind of sketchbook pages that I did where I did have a photo reference, I felt a lot more comfortable with as well, because it felt more like how I normally work. I forgot to film this one too. Yeah, this is just me experimenting a lot, basically throughout the whole month. It was just a month of experimentation, and I think I'm going to continue to keep experimenting with artwork and keep playing around, because I found it really valuable to experiment and to try and figure things out. But at the same time, I was kind of really conscious of the fact that everybody else who was like participating in Peachtober, who I saw on like Instagram, they all had like that defined style. You could tell that it was their art, and I was like, mine is not like that. We're still figuring things out, but it definitely helps me to learn what I like in artwork and what I don't like in artwork, and I think that is a very valuable thing, because it helps me to further establish, okay, this is the kind of art that I want to make, and this is the kind of art that I don't want to make. And this is how I want things to look like. We're now coming into like my favourite sketchbook pages. From here onwards, I think most of them I really like. This one I love because of all the texture in it. Again, texture is something that I love. And then this one, I love the simplicity of this one. I did a sketchbook page that was like a greenhouse earlier in the year, and I loved that one, so I really wanted to have a go again. And again, I really love this one. It's from a reference photo that my mum sent me of our greenhouse at home. And then this one is of Dunstanburgh Beach, well, the castle. This is Northumberland, and it's somewhere that I've been a lot with my like family, and so I really enjoyed doing this one. Again, textures. It's really what I love. This one I'm like, I don't mind it, but I don't love it either. It's definitely not really something that I would paint of my own like will, you know. But yeah, and then these final few sketchbook pages are the ones that I love the most. They're predominantly gouache, but also have watercolours mixed in and coloured pencils mixed in. For this one, it's like, it's not, this is just gouache, but I love how it turned out. But yeah, and then this one is gouache. Again, I don't love this one, but I just loved experimenting with gouache, really, was my main thing. It was a lot of fun to do that, because I've not really used gouache loads. Prior to this, I've sort of used it as an addition to other ones and not to like the principal medium. This is one of my favourites. I think, if not my favourite, I don't know exactly which one is my favourite, but I just love the texture of this. It's like watercolour layered with gouache and then coloured pencils, and it just looks so good. And then because I loved that one so much, I tried to sort of experiment again with that style, and so this one didn't turn out exactly like how I wanted or as well as I wanted. I got very stressed out doing this one because I was trying to do it of my dogs and it just didn't turn out how I wanted, but I do like it. And then this one I love because the colours are just beautiful, and then like the texture that I've managed to like add in with all of the different layers of paints and coloured pencils and crayons. So I think overall I really found that this is what I want my artwork to look like.